Hey there, welcome to another episode of Phill on the Mail. I hope you guys are doing great. Today, I'm going to be addressing some frequently asked questions and some questions from one of our students, Laura. Pretty good questions, which I think everyone else on our system may benefit from. So, first question states, is it recommended to take the mock exam as a baseline before beginning the course? Absolutely not. We don't want to waste this opportunity to take a mock exam that is extremely pinpoint precise. This mock exam assumes that you are ready for the real thing. So if you took it without really being ready for the real thing, you've kind of wasted that chance of having an undiluted, fresh mock exam to take. For that reason, I would recommend, if you wanted to play around with a few questions to see where you stood, I would recommend our 10 questions. They're quite solid, you know, they're almost as difficult as the real mock, but they're not 200 questions, just 10. And I'm gonna post those 10 questions in this video. Those of you looking, if you wanna take it for a spin, click on the link in the comments. I'm gonna put the link in the comments. I'll also put it on Facebook that way. So feel free to take that 10 question mock exam and see where you stand. I mean, getting a 10 out of 10 means, oh my goodness, you're smoking on that thing. But 3, 4, 5 could indicate you got a little bit of an uphill climb, you know, but depending. But I think 10 questions would be better than doing a whole 200 without really going through our program. All right, next one, question 2. Is the LMS structured like your virtual course schedule? For example, week 1 covers chapter 1 to 5. Should I also develop a study plan? Absolutely, absolutely, Laura. So what I'm gonna do right now, I know many people don't like it, but I gotta open Billy's software app. I'm talking about Bill Gates, I'm joking. But I'm gonna open up Microsoft Project because we use Project for our schedules, our student schedules. It's manageable, you know, for a lot of the folks on the team use it. So I'm gonna open up Microsoft Project and show you. You absolutely should. Now the schedule is not the same, Laura, as the virtual schedule. The virtual schedule is come rain, come shine. We're gonna cover, you know, I can actually show you what that looks like. This might actually give you an idea. You see, there it goes, trying to get me to upgrade again. I do not want a Windows 10 upgrade. Thank you very much. Okay, so let me do 2 things, Laura. Let me show you our self-study schedule, and then I'll show you the schedule for the virtual course. So let me share that with you. Here we go, taking a look at Project Professional. All right, there you go. So as you can see here, we have chapter 1 being the first thing we attack, 2 days long. Then chapter 2, another 2 days, chapter 3, another 2 days, chapter 4, 3 days, chapter 5, 3 days, chapter 6 and 7, 4 days apart, chapter 8, 3 days, chapters 9 and 10, a day each. That is pretty aggressive, especially since resource management is a 6-headed beast. So you gotta be really dogged on that day you do resource management. Risk management, 3 days. Procurement, 2 days. Stakeholder management, 2 days. Professional responsibility, 1 day. So, I mean, if you want, you could move 1 day from stakeholder to resource management, but stakeholder brings a lot of the areas together. It's one of those, it's almost like a version of integrating stuff, you know, because you're integrating everything into what your stakeholders need to be aware of and what they need to do and how they need to behave. So that could be a little bit intense to cover the full gamut of it, but so could resource management. So you could tailor this to your needs. Personally, I'll probably use a day or two for everyone, but I know not everyone can do all of these in a day. Okay, so that's pretty much it. And then after that first iteration, Laura, it then goes into a 50-question mini mock exam. So it's at this point that we would actually baseline and benchmark where you are. Not really at the beginning, but after one iteration of going through stuff, then we want to test and see where you are. All right. Then next, we recommend a full revision, draw out page 25 from memory, study all the PMBOK guide, process data flows, and then you're going to go into a more miserable bank of questions. You know, funny thing, Laura, one of our other students, Craig, who is now a PMP, he said he would study for these 2020 quiz questions as if it was like the real exam, because he hated seeing fail. Because these particular quizzes, oh, they're bad. They're mean, I tell you. But it's really good for you to get used to seeing long-winded questions or questions laden with trickery to help you on a real exam. I've heard this from so many students. Thank goodness I took the 2020s. You know, they say hindsight is 2020, hence 2020 vision, because we listen to all the moans and groans and gripes of students, both ours and on social media, and it gives us an idea of how to fine-tune what we present and not make it a puny question. We want to make it a really aggressive, in-your-face question. You know, so that's what it's all about. All right, then after you get done with all of those knowledge areas in the 2020s, the next step is to take the vicious PMP 200-question mock exam. All right, and we have 3 mock exams, by the way. So the PMP mock exam, you could take that, you know, on one day, and then you could take, as you can see here, you can then take a tougher PMP mock exam. And if you want to be Oliver Twist and ask for seconds, we've got one more where that came from. So we've got 3 200-question mock exams for you, Laura. We have 2 50-question mock exams, and then we have that 10-question mock, which I'm going to put in the chat for anyone who cares to take it. All right, and then our idea is that the program is pretty much complete. Now, while I don't have it here, you know we've got a section for Scrum. So as you're going through the LMS content at the end, just before the mock exam, you'll see some videos on Scrum, about 1.5 hours long, Scrum, Agile. I mean, basically Agile, you know, but Scrum is predominant. Kanban, all that stuff. It's all there at the bottom. So the idea, Laura, is that by the time you get to day 40, right, you should be ready to take a very, very difficult mock exam and then keep on beefing up, you know, depending on how you feel. Just look at how you feel. You know, if you feel you've got a longer period of time to work on it, probably better to do that, space it out. I took 6 months to get ready for my exam, you know, and I still didn't feel ready. I wanted to cop out, but I said, no, I got to do it. So whatever you think is a sensible schedule, I'll send you this Microsoft project schedule. If you want it in Excel, I could send that to you as well. I'll actually make this available to our students, okay? Just our students on the learning management system. I'll make this available to them to download and do what they will with it. Change it up to suit their schedule. Some people might end up using 10 days for one process group or 10 days for one knowledge area. It really depends. This is by knowledge area, okay? All right, so that is that about that. So you kind of get an idea of what the schedule looks like for the self-study. That is our recommended schedule, okay? Now I'm going to take you over to the virtual schedule. So observe the difference in the virtual schedule. So let's go there. Let me share this. All right, here we go. So here's the website, the Praizion.com or the PM Succeed website. So if you go to schedule, just click on schedule there, take you to the schedule, and here's the schedule. So you can see it is very aggressive. Week 1, which is 1 day, it's a Saturday. We cover chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the first half. Second half, we cover chapter 5. That's almost half of the PMBOK guide in 1 day. You can see it's pretty aggressive. So I often tell people, you're coming for this, you better do some advanced, studying. Week 2, we then cover chapter 6, chapter 10, and chapter 9. We cover them out of order. We don't do 7 because we don't want to kill anyone doing 6 and 7 on the same day. Week 3, we cover chapter 7, 13, and 12. Again, they're talking about 8 hour, not 8 hour, we're talking about roughly 7, I should say 6-hour days for that. Because we start at 11 Eastern, we get done at 5 p.m. Eastern. We're talking about roughly 6-hour days, except when I have to keep people back a little bit, maybe 7-hour days, Week 4, chapter 8, chapter 11, chapter 14, and then week 5 is the mock exam. So whichever one, if you wanted to go with that schedule, you got to be aggressive. For you to be able to clean up 5 knowledge areas in 1 day, really need some expert help. And you see the way we load it. We don't do it like that all through. Chapters 1, 2, and 3 are quite digestible. It's when you start getting to the heavier ones like schedule, cost, and risk, it starts bogging people down. But everything else, we've got techniques and methods to do this virtual or live. We make it go very quickly, and people understand quick. Now, for the online self-study, you could mix and match processes as you will. Even though we recommend going either by process group or by knowledge area, you can do whatever feels good for you, okay? So I guess we should probably chat about this a little bit more if you have additional questions. But let me go back to your questions and see what else you asked. Let's see, question 3. In terms of study tips, what is your recommendation in using the LMS to study, daily or weekly? Absolutely daily. Do it daily. Some of my students, they have it on their device. I've got it on my device. I can, if you got an iPad, you want to use the Brave browser though, so that you can actually watch smoothly. Safari is kind of goofy in how it renders this particular site. I don't know why it does that. But Brave does it very well. So my recommendation to you would be to daily hit this thing, daily. Let me see if I can log in. It's a little bit tricky doing this. I'm walking at the same time. Should put that red safety thing on. You never know, right? Okay, I'm finding it a little bit hard to do, but I would recommend daily your device. Hopefully you've got a device that's compatible. Let those videos play in the background, even if you are not watching the video, listen to the audio, like an hour unfailingly, just listening. Then on top of that, watch the videos, take notes. I mean, for example, you could listen to Develop Project Charter without watching the video. Then you can watch the video later, maybe on like a lunch break, and then get back home and then go back and tackle the next process, because you know we break it down by processes. So that's my advice on how you should you know, study daily, unfailingly, not weekly, daily. It's a daily grind. The fourth question, in terms of taking the mock exam, I'm assuming that there is indicator of passing or failing, as well as showing areas that need more working on. Absolutely. So we do it by domain: initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, and controlling, and closing, you know. And that said, we've got different mock exams, you know. We've got 3. They're all pretty challenging, though. I'll tell you that. But we break down, you know, areas to target. Is there only one mock exam included in the LMS? No, there's 3. You said, or on a second attempt in taking the mock exam, are questions shuffled or is a new set of questions given? So there's about a 30% difference on most of the mock exams. Some of them you're going to get pretty much the same question shuffled with a few sprinkled in. And that's why I say wait until you're absolutely ready to face one of the mocks. Try that, see where you stand. You know, start with the 10-question mock. Then when you're done with one iteration of studying the 50-question mock, when you're done with that and another layer of studying, like the 2020 vision quizzes, take another mock. But wait, there's more. We have a 3rd mock exam. So study some more, maybe do some of the lab. We've got some lab exercises. Do those, and then take the 3rd mock. And by the time you get to the 3rd mock, we will definitely know where you stand, you know, in the grand scheme of it. Okay, so I hope that answers your question, Laura, and many of the other students who have had these questions but haven't sent them in. I hope that helps you, and I hope that gives you some ideas about how to use the system. Don't hesitate to ask any questions. All of these are really great questions, and I would love to answer some more for you. All right, thank you very much, and thanks for joining me on the treadmill. Speak to you later.